Hello and welcome back to another English lesson. I am Hawardem Davisem and I just want to do today's lesson on nouns, mostly countable and uncountable. Now sometimes there's some confusion on how do you treat nouns when you are trying to put a quantity on a noun. Remember, nouns are like person, place, or thing. We are going to mostly talk about things. Things are like apples, balls, objects, sugar, water, beer. Okay, for example. Okay, those are all nouns. Okay, how do we treat them when we want to put a quantity to the noun? So we have what we call countable nouns and uncountable nouns. What this means is how you treat the noun and how you are going to talk about that noun. For example, apples. Apples, you can count apples. 1 apple, 2 apples, 3 apples, 4 apples. Okay, so apples, we would say countable. Okay, so I have an, remember the article, okay, don't forget about the articles, okay? An article, an is because it starts with an A. If I say ball, and ball is countable because you can have 1 ball, 2 balls, 3 balls, 4 balls, a ball. Or the ball. You can always say the apple also. If you're talking about the apple, you're talking about the specific apple or the specific ball. Okay, but you're only talking about one. In all the articles, you're only talking about one. But we're talking about countable. We might be talking about more. We might be talking about 5, 6, 7, 8. So they are countable. I have 8 apples. Now, we also have a couple of apples. A couple of apples equals 2. Okay? We always say a couple. A couple is 2. A couple is always going to be 2. A few, we usually say that a few is sometimes between 3 to 5. There's nothing that says that's general rule, 3 to 5. I have a few apples. So in your mind, when you're thinking of countable apples, okay, the person who says, I have a few apples, you can say, okay, they have 3 to 5. Many apples might have a whole basket full of apples. So you don't know how many, but there are many apples, it's still countable. Alright, so these are countable. You can say I have 1 leaf, 2 leaves, 1 tree. I have 1 chair, 1 book. Okay, these are examples of countable. Now let's go to uncountable. What makes a noun uncountable? Well, just because of how the noun, the substance of the noun is, it doesn't have a specific quantity. For example, water. Can you put a quantity to water without putting something in front of it? Just water. Just the word water. Can you say one water? No, not really. You would say one glass of water, or one pint of water, or 1 liter of water. Okay, so water would be uncountable, because you can't just take water because it's liquid. It's a liquid. You can't put a quantity on a liquid. Beer is the same way. Okay? If it's a liquid, it is uncountable. So, what we do, we can say, I need an apple or a ball. What I would say is, I need some water or some beer. Or, do you have any water? The way we use this is more of a interrogative, a question. Do you have any water? You can also use some as an interrogative. Do you have some water? But if you wanted to make a statement, you would say, I need some water, or I need some beer. Or you put a quantity in front of it. Maybe one pint of water. Okay, for example, you have to put a quantity in front of what the liquid is. Another uncountable would be like sugar. Sugar is an uncountable. You cannot put a quantity on sugar. So sugar, you would say, do you have any sugar? Any sugar. Or I need a little sugar. I would like a little sugar in my coffee or in my tea. Or that's too much sugar. Right? So sugar, in the uncountable, you use any, some, little, and much. Okay, that is what you would use to describe not a specific quantity. If you want a specific quantity, you would say maybe I don't know how I would measure sugar, but in the case of water or beer, maybe one liter. I need 1 liter of water. You would put a quantity in front of it for a specific. Or just to be general, you would say, do you have any sugar? Is there any sugar in the store? I need some sugar. Do you have some sugar? I need a little sugar. Or that's too much sugar. Another example would be, excuse me. Beef. Just saying beef. 1 beef. You can't say just 1 beef because it is uncountable. It's not anything you can put just a beef, and beef, or the beef. You would have to say, I would like some beef, or I would like one or let's say 10 grams of beef, something. I'm just throwing that out there, okay? Or that's too much beef, or that's too little beef, okay? So those are examples of uncountable for how you are going to use nouns when you have to put a quantity in front or in your speech. So if you have any questions about nouns and how you use countable and uncountable, just remember, if you can say a and or the, a ball or an apple, a car, that's countable. Okay, you can use that. That's countable. Uncountable means that you don't know a specific quantity of it. You have to put something in front of it to make it a specific quantity. So that is countable and uncountable. If you have any questions, please reach out to Isa. We would love to answer your questions. Have a great day. Bye-bye.